प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण को श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन ब्रज वृंदावन धाम की जय। नंदकृष्ण धाम की जय। गंगामणि की जय। जमुनामणि की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। समागत भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंद और गौरीश और गौरीश और गौरीश ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 आज हम श्री कृष्ण जन्माष्टमी का महोत्सव भगवान कौन है? भगवान के एक ही होते हैं। स्वयं जो भगवान है वही पुरवार कर सकते हैं। उसके आधार पर उन्होंने जिन्होंने अनुभूति की है भगवान की वो पुरवार कर सकते हैं। लेकिन अधिकृतता प्रामाणिकता बनाए रखनी चाहिए। भगवान के विस्तार अनेक होते हैं। वो भगवान जैसे ही शक्तिशाली होते हैं। फिर भी शक्तिमान होने का नापदन एक ही पास होता है और उसके आधार पर इनके विस्तारों में भी भगवान की शक्ति का संचार होता है। भगवान षडैश्वरी पूर्ण होते हैं। जो लोग सर्वाकर्षक हेतु सबके लिए होता है। हम सब सौंदर्य के पीछे पड़ते हैं। तो सबसे सौंदर्यवान कौन है? भगवान कृष्ण। उससे भी शक्तिशाली भगवान कृष्ण की शक्ति से बहुत ऊपर नहीं हो सकता। भगवान अपने भक्तों को ज्यादा शक्तिशाली बनाते हैं। इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि भगवान ने शक्ति गंवा दी और उनकी शक्ति उसमें दे दी। ऐसा भी नहीं। English. Oh my God. Good. All right. We are talking the supremacy of Lord Krishna. Nobody can become a duplicate of him. The reason being, he has to claim himself. Nobody else has ever claimed that he is the supreme. All right. Second thing is that besides being the supreme, he has 6 full opulences that make him supreme. This is all beautiful, all powerful, all knowledgeable, all prestigious. Then all fame, but that is famous means what? Then what is that? Knowledgeable. Alright? As well as all detached. 6 opulences, according to the father of Srila Vyasabhaya, is Parashara. He defines it. Shad-Aishwarya Purna. Only one personality is there, and Krishna therefore said, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mantar sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajanti mam buddha bhava samanya. those who do not understand Lord Shri Krishna and his supremacy, nobody is equal to or greater than him. That is also the issue. I'm sorry, the Srikasatara Upanishad is claiming is revealing, that is the verdict of all the Vedas. Nachatasya karanam karam chavidyate nachatasamasam padhyate kacchatrashyate parasha shaktir viditi swabhaviki jnana bhavapinyacha nityo nityana sevanasya eko bahunam yo vedavyasapriyam. So many glorification, Upanishads, standing for only one person. And the ego bahushya, one manifested in many. There are no many simultaneous statements. They come in accordance to the different stages of the creation. Devas, especially Devis, these are Shaktiman, but they are created beings, number 10 by Brahma. They are not self-manifested. Self-manifestation is only given to one personality, that he comes in different millennium, in different forms, as well as different activities. Srimad Bhagavatam tells, where do you want the glorification of the Supreme Absolute Truth Personality? And 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Purushottam Yoga, we have to be conversant with the authority of the Shastras to prove, and that's what Srila Prabhupada brought in the West. In Los Angeles, every 4 o'clock in the evening, Prabhupada would, that is summertime of course, Prabhupada would sit in the garden, which is adjacent to the Vatsya garden, and he has so many admirers. They are theologians, they are great authorities on Oriental philosophy. About 5 of them, they appreciated Srila Prabhupada's boldness so much. Prabhupada will simply play the role of very innocent, not offending any creature, but he will try to tease them by putting sort of question. So you are all theologians. Theology means to know who God is. Not about what God is or how God is, but who God is. The studying of that Supreme Person. According to different theologies, they indicate the supremacy in say miracles, some say in proper applications of human life, but it is also according to circumstantial situation, right? Not on the absolute practice. Moreover, this privilege has to come from disciplic succession. Prabhupada said, you are all theologians. So theology is to know who God is. And they say, Prabhupada, you are right. But according to this philosophy, this tradition, personality. He says, no, God is one. You all agree. But why are you speaking to different personalities? The personality should be one who can manifest in many. That is another topic. So, he says, you are philosophizing about different traditions. That means you are not theologians, you are philosophists. Philosophy means, according to different traditions, you compare this God and that God, but you do not come to the conclusion. There is only one God. They say, yes, you are right. And Prabhupada will say, see, just like you have tutelage coming from very prestigious schools. Catholic Church has been built 2,000 years back, more than 2,000 years back. And the description of Godhood is there, but not on the personality aspect. You still believe in personality. And there are many sections. They are either impersonal, Mayava, or multiple of Godhood. That is called Bahu. Too many. And if you want to equate everything, is one. But that is not continued according to the authority of. I also come with the tutelage. But they are all single opinion. How come you are of different opinion? And they said, Prabhupada, you are right. But we are stuck. He said, here is Krishna. Every great acharyas of India has accepted him as the Supreme Personality of God. Not even Vishnu. That belongs to several other traditions. There are 3 Vishnus. Which one is coming from Vishnu? Moreover, the 4th one is expansion of the 3rd Vishnu, and he is all-pervading. He is within the atom, without the atom, he is within your heart and my heart. That feature is an expansion that makes him omnipresent. Now, how would you understand? It must be one who has become many. That's the very aphorism of the Vedanta Sutra. That ego bahushyam, one manifested in many. Even Seta Sutra, nityo nityanam, chetana chetanam, ego bahunam vividata. Eka. Chatushloki Bhagavad is indicating on one supreme. And Krishna himself said, Aham sarvasya prabhu. Matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajanti mam buddha bhava. Those who do not believe, they are not Buddha bhava. Buddha bhava means they must have sufficient intelligence to accept the verdict of the Shastras. And they go according to that. It is not man-made religion. Man has undergone through so many changes and so many circumstances that compel them either to change their belief or anything to that reason. So, but here is an age-old tradition that represented here. And I tell the same thing as my predecessor Acharya. So, because first of all, you do not know who God is. You are speculating. And here I come with the authority. So why don't you accept Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God? We call him Krishna. Krishna means all attractive, which is synonym with the name and meaning. If it is synonym, the words spell everything. Krishna is all attractive. Do you think God is an old man with a white beard? There is no description of it. Islam doesn't show face of Allah or Muhammad. Is it a faceless person? Because it is difficult. One has to have some merits of understanding by practice. And devotional practice gives the man no other thing can give ever any merit. So in Ishopanishad, the first revelations to know the dazzling face of the Supreme Personality of God. And there is also a request. My dear Lord, if you think so, if you think so that I am qualified to see your serene face behind this dazzling effulgence. It's like the sun goes, so much, hundreds of suns may be shining, and we can really be blinded. But yet, if you think that I'm qualified, please show me your beautiful face behind this dazzling effulgence. So that requires devotional merit to know the personality. Unless we are connected properly and performing the required practice as a service to Him for success to the Supreme. In accordance to that, we will be successful. Ye Rama Prapadyate Rama. So in Bhagavad Gita, he is revealing himself and we speculate. The impersonalists say, oh, you do not have to surrender to Krishna, but one who is speaking in him. What is this? Man mana bhavo mad bhakto matyadi mantamashkuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijani suryosam. And Krishna is asking, because he is very dear, unless until one is in service attitude, he performs everything that pleases Lord Krishna. He is called Bhakti Yoga. But Arjuna, you become my devotee. You are a friend, that's okay. You are not envious of me, that's okay. But Nalla, Manmana. You are to use, you absorb yourself into my consciousness. Mad Bhakta, become my devotee. Madhyaji, offer your homage, worship to me. Mam Namashkuru. Pay your obeisance to me, all. And he guarantees. Satyam te pratijani priyosi me. I'm telling you the truth. You will be able to be able. Mame vaishyasi. You will be absorbed in my totality. Because you are my very dear. Impersonalists cannot have any anticipation to have a little love for one. Therefore they deny the personality. If there is personality, you have to love him. Right? But they don't. They are so dry, speculative. They want to even annihilate themselves into merging into Brahma. They cannot become even a devotee. Only Bhaunam Janmanam Te Gyatvam Nam Prapadyate Vasudevam Sarvamati Sarvam Vasudhara. Out of many human forms like such Jnanis, when they surrender to me, and that is also by the mercy of the devotee, that Jnani can come and he will start chanting Hare Krishna and surrender. Process will be. Then he is called Mahatma, and he is very rare. The Jnani is not a Mahatma. But because we do not have a proper tutelage, study of Bhagavad Gita, which is our prime. We believe it, but we don't behave it. We believe it, but we do not subscribe to any of this. Now, belief system, as I said before, it changes. That humanity, that was a civilization, called Vedic civilization before, it's almost on the verge of extinct. It's the mercy of Srila Prabhupada that he came with a challenging attitude. There was nobody there. Many came before. Swami Ramatirtha came about very early to West Coast especially, and they were after Second World War or so. They came. They made some disciples, but where are they today? None. The idea is that the conclusion of the Vedas is there. Vedas sarvahi aham eva vedya. All the studies of Vedas is reflecting that I should be known. Vedanta Krit, I have compiled the Vedas and I spoke to Brahma. Tene Brahmaradaya Adhikare. So, Krishna is revealing, and Krishna's devotees who are authorities, there are 12 Mahajans, they are revealing about Krishna. Swayambhu is Brahma, Narada, Shambhu, Lord Shiva reveals about Krishna. But we are after Shiva and we do not know what is the revealing. If we do what Lord Shiva does, chant, right? He retired. Otherwise, he was brought in this material world by Brahma through his Vibhuti as a Rudra. And there are 11 Rudras. Brahma told you become Prajapati. And Lord Shiva became Prajapati. So all the Bhairavas and others were created, but they were Tamoguna. So naturally they started fighting with the Rishis, the Saptarshis and others, who also became Prajapati. So immediately, household life is very poor also, right from Brahma's day. And so we inherit. There is no smoothness. We wish our household will be the best, but no, sorry, you are not an exception. Miseries are there for all the time. If Brahma feels the misery, because four Kumaras came first, and they denied Brahma. Pitaji, we want to become brahmachari. We don't want to get into the household of life. And Brahma said, I am the Prajapati, I have to make Prajapatis, all my generations. Why not? And you deny it. And Brahma, because of Rajoguna, Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Rajoguna Samudra, Krodha. And Shivji came out as a Buddha. And Shivji was also frustrated because Bhairavas are fighting and Brahma says, stop, Shivji, enough is enough. I want you to retire. Go in the jungle, start chanting and meditate on the Supreme. From that day, Lord Shiva has been only seen as chanting and only one pose. That is Shiva. And Shiva shows the glory. Who should he say? To Uma, Parvati. They will teach about the absolute truth in Krishna, especially Lord Shiva as the Radharani. And Parvati wants to know so many things about Radha because she is the transformation in the three modes of material nature from Radha. Lord Shiva cannot be transformed back into Sankirtana Tattva, neither Parvati. Parvati knows, but she is like Narayana, she is a devotee. And all the family, they chant Hare Krishna. Lord Shiva teaches that. Ganesha is Maharaj, Kartikeya is Maharaj, Parvati is Maharaj. Who doesn't have Maharaj? Even though the family members are the three, Nandi is Lord Shiva's, Lion or Parvati, both are animals, right? But there is no fight between them. Lord Shiva has snake and Ganesh has Chuha, many, but no fight. If snake is there, then Kartikeya is more peacock. They don't fight. Right? Still, even though having difference between Ganesh and Kartikeya, there is unity. This is called unity in diversity. Lord Shiva is the first example. unity in diversity. Prabhupada wanted that every Khopri in ISKCON is a diversified activity. But if they connect with Krishna, there is unity. They have to connect. So the idea is that because Krishna is the supreme moiety from whom everything is expanded, and all his energies are also active on the Swabhava of Krishna. They know energies must be in tune with the energetic. How does the Radharani know what is the nature of Krishna? She is Ladini Shakti and she cannot be isolated from Krishna. You cannot put even little distance on the altar. Prabhupada says, put together. Yes. Krishna cannot be separated from his energy. So never worship Krishna alone. You need to have Ladini potency. Because she is the prime potency. Sandhini potency is Balaram who manifests the spiritual world as well as material world also for the service of Lord Krishna. And you go Samvit Shakti, Saraswati, she sits only in the heart of Krishna. And she comes out in the form of Veduna to impart Gayatri in the heart of Brahma. Brahma was initiated with Gopal Gayatri and Kam Gayatri that you will see in Brahma Samhita. But the point is that origin of everything, Sarva Karana Karana, is Krishna. So why not present him as the Supreme? We are not speculative because we have solid backing of the Shastras. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to South India too. And he went all the way up to Rameshwar and Dhanushkodi. Okay? He also went to Kanyakumari. While coming back at Adikeshu temple, he received 5th chapter of Brahma Samhita. Right? He got a copy of it and brought it. Brahma Samhita was being studied well by Ramanuja Sampradaya. They worship only Vishnu. They worship Vishnu, but they love Krishna. You can't love Vishnu. Alright? Lakshmi is there, you don't have a chance. You can't serve Vishnu without awe and reverence. But Vishnu will fulfill 4 desires. Sarupya, Samhitya, Sastri, and Salokya. 4 kinds of preparation Vishnu can give. And all they look like 400 Vishnu temples. Even husband and wife can go together in Vishnu, but not in Krishna. If husband and wife, you go in South India, they do Kalyana Utsava every day to Vishnu and Paramahansa, because they think that it will reflect upon their own liberation. And they can go together, husband and wife. But for reverence, nothing, there are no service activities there. And Lord Vishnu, Mahavishnu doesn't pay much. Just your desires are fulfilled, but Krishna's desires have to be fulfilled. That's completely a reverse activity. So, the higher realm is in Krishna. Krishna can reciprocate with all 5 kinds of relationship. But the 4 are most important. Sayujya Mukti is not a permanent Vishnu. Nobody can become Sai. They have to be re-established in their original position. Jay and Vijay fell off, but that was Krishna's plan. So as Vishnu 400, they became the great demon to fight with. So avatars have to come through different Vishnus. Kanadakshayi Vishnu, the first Vishnu, is called Mahavishnu, and nobody knows about him. Why? It is given in Bhagavata. Yakarnanavajale Bhajatisma Yoga Nindramananta Jagadanta Sarovakupa Adhar Shaktim Avalamyam Govindamadi Purusham is here. But his first and foremost expansion in one of the secondary quadruple as Sankirtana becomes Mahavishnu. There are 24 Vaikunthas, and they have their own expansions. Out of them, one Vaikuntha planet, the secondary Sankarshan takes the charge as Mahavishnu. Moreover, he also takes the charge as Anantashesh, and he also becomes Lord Shiva to interact with Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who has been master for conducting 3 modes of the universe. There is a system one has to study properly, but Krishna remains Adi Purusha. But this Brahma Samhita explains the position of Lord Shiva. It explains the position of Parvati. Even Lord Ganesha's position. But they are all subservient to fulfill the desires of the jivas. And therefore, they have engagement, which is a thankless task. Somebody has to reward, somebody has to punish. But there are 12 Mahajanas who are the authority on Lord Krishna. And Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu, Kumara, Kapila, Manu, Prahlada, Janaka, Bhishma, Bali, Vyasiki, Vayashi. If you consider Maharaj, he is not fearful for you. If you know him, who is he? He is a pure devotee and authority on Lord Krishna. Read the story in Kathopanishad about Nachiketa. You will understand. He may have thankless task to punish the wayward, those who are simply living for nobody's sake, not even their sake. Parabhavasya abodhajato javanto vidyasam atmatattvam javat kriya tavat manobis karmatmakam deva sharir bandhana. So those people who just live their life, men especially, without knowing their reality in connection with Krishna, they live uselessly. Parabhava, they are sure to be defeated by Maya. But man has given a brain, a higher intelligence. And those who have come from the Vedic civilization, some trend, Bharata Bhumi te hoila manusya janmashat, janmasarthaka karipalokar. It is the obligation levied upon the people of Krishna conscious origin. And whoever takes up in material world today, they are also adopting even so many Westerners, and whether they are qualified or disqualified, but if they chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, take up the Vedic tradition, that's Vedic tradition makes them Bharata Bhumi. This is the real thing, and Prabhupada provided. He came as a very merciful devotee and showered because his Guru Maharaj. But he became so humble that I came penniless. I don't know anything. Not the language, how would I say it? And he wrote so many books. They were translated in English and so on. But many joined from the lowest crude system of the modern civilization. And it's called them hippies or whatever. But Prabhupada made them happy. But Prabhupada became so thankful. And my Guru sent all of you to help me to serve me. So therefore I thank you very much. And they were obligated. And Srila Prabhupada established ISKCON with their strength. And you may understand the devotees in the initial period. There were only 26 devotees. And mostly they came all the way from New York area. After New York Temple, the second was San Francisco, the third was Montreal. So back and forth in so wide, 3,500 miles distance. But Prabhupada went. So there were only 26 handful, but they were so fired up, they did not know anything. They were reading books, they were taking prasada, they were chanting their, mantras. They were all initiated. Nobody was second. But they will go for book distribution. Wherever Srila Prabhupada will travel, they will reach there first. And everywhere, in every temple, Prabhupada was greeted by the same devotee, but everybody understood that you have so many devotees. So this was a miracle when Prabhupada is very, very thin. And so it's took as a fire worldwide, wildfire. And Prabhupada was also simultaneously creating the fire and extinguishing the fire, whatever. So like that. But the idea is that we are an education institute, and everybody has to get properly educated. There were 7 purposes, if you read in back page of our Back to God magazine, you will understand. And they are all education. Because we systematically forgot, so we have to systematically head up. And re-educate ourselves. Most of us are so much congested with the opinion of vox populi that we believe in everybody, but we do not know what's the origin. And Vedas are not bluffing. Krishna, the Vedas come from Krishna. Vedasya sarvaihi aham eva vedya. Vedanta krita VEDAVYASAPRIYA. I am a Vedavid, Krishna says. So authority goes on the one who claims, but one who supports and realizes not true. And there are hosts of great personalities that come in authorities, authorization. There's a Brahma Gauri Sampradaya. There is also an authorized. Hardly there is any out of other 3 can claim discipline succession. Prabhupada brought it. So, honest representation. Bhagavad Gita as it is called Krishna Consciousness Society, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. When he established, there were also many other opinions. Swamiji, you can put it God consciousness. Why Krishna consciousness? Because Krishna is God. And gods are many for others. So if I put God consciousness, they will bring all other gods. So forget it. He became so much staunch, affiliated, and confirmed in Krishna consciousness. Because he has to impart that world doesn't know. Otherwise, the Hinduism is a hodgepodge of multi-godhood, and simply they fight amongst each other. Mine is greater than yours. Arre Baba, everybody is subservient to Krishna. Ekale Ishwara Krishna aar sabhi pratya. Jahara ichhaye tabhi tavai nachare nritya. Everybody dances according to Krishna's bidding. So the idea is that we should know we are celebrating Krishna Janmashtami as one of the most important celebration because of his position in entire world, or not only this world but entire creation, not only in creation, in entire spiritual as well as material creation. We give classes on systematic study, daily Srimad Bhagavatam recitation. So those who join, those who want to advance, we give classes. We were educated, but we were not Krishna conscious in the beginning. Of course, I was reading Bhagavad Gita, one chapter every day, but that doesn't mean I'm Krishna conscious. Krishna consciousness begins by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. That is a fundamental. Even devotional service begins only with chanting Hare Krishna. Otherwise it does not. We may think that we are devotees. No, sorry. We have to be getting approved by going to what Krishna defines as a devotee. Satakam kirtayato ma yatantascha bhagavata namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayuta upasana. This is the function of his devotee. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam kritipurukam dadami buddhi yogam mam upayantite. Ultimate aim is we have to go back to God. Because we fell from that grace. Even Christianity also believes we fell from grace. But from where they can't say. But we can tell. We have to regain our soul's position, which is Jivara Swarupa, Krishna. We can never be master. We are always subservient. And we are so much insignificant, but qualitatively one with Krishna, not quantitatively. Krishna's fragment is also Krishna. But you can't become Krishna. You don't have a quantitativeness. But at least realize the spiritual potency which has been covered by material potency right now. And we have to come out like the lotus, growing from of Maya, material energy. And lotus has a quality, does not allow any water drop even on its spot. It will immediately fall. It doesn't touch it. There are small bristles on the leaf as well as on the petals. It waters. As soon as slight wave comes, it falls off. And our life is also compared to a very little duration, and it is said that Kamala dala jala jivana dala mala bhajahu hari padani tare. Our life is also like a drop tottering on the leaf of a lotus flower. Any time it will go. But we have plans. Krishna has his own plan. If we become subservient to Krishna's plan, then every success is there. Because if we are not in tune with Krishna, or his desire for us, because he has the right to take from us, to be part and parcel. The father does not want to separate from his son. So in Christianity there is a story of prodigal son, and everybody knows that. But it doesn't mean What kind of love Krishna would have? He's all loving. He's not harsh. Nobody showed the loving attitude other than Krishna with every living entity. Lord Vishnu doesn't have. You will find hard to love Lord Vishnu. No way. Lakshmi is there, that's enough. Ramchandra was a Maryada Purushottam. Alright? Sita is enough. Better follow my trends rather than imitate me. Brahma Samhita says that Ramadi Murtishu Kala Niyamena Tishtan Nanavataram Akarot Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhava Paramam Mario Govindam Adi Purusha. Adi Purusha. How would you understand Adi Purusha? The same Brahma is giving the example. Deepachideva dasantara bhaktya Deepachide vibhuta hetu samana dharma Yes, Tadrgeva cha Vishnutaya vibhati Govindam Adi Purusha. If you purchase the box of candles, they may have all the same candle power, but we are concerned which candle is circulating. From that candle, any other candle can be also lit. That is called Adi Purusha. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam claims the absolute truth, which is described in Brahma Sutras or Vedanta Sutras. And second sutra is Janmashtami Yata, only that much. But Vyasadeva wrote the sutra, and Vyasadeva explained when he was chastised by his guru, Narada Muni. After writing and making one Veda into 4 Vedas and supplementary to the Vedas 808 Upanishads, after that the Itihasas, everything was written. And then over and above he does 108 Puranas too. And yet he was despondent. He was not satisfied. He wants to write more. But he was confused. What do I have to write? What do I have to write? So Narada Muni, his spiritual master, came to his rescue and said, Vyasadeva, what good did you do for the mankind? You have still kept them in the effect of the 3 modes of material nature by using all the potencies that Krishna invested in you as a Shakti Avesh avatar, and you are not satisfied yet because you have forgotten to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead without any tinge of material force. So write such a literature which is transcendental in nature. And Vyasadeva took that and wrote Srimad Bhagavatam. One aphorism, Janmashtami, that is the first sloka of Srimad Bhagavatam, that explained Janmashtami yatharanvayadi tadaschasre abhikya swarat tene brahmaradaya adi kave muhyat yat surya tejo vari pradam yatha vinivayat sharva munsha dhamna srena sada nirasta koham satyam param dhimahi. This is Gayatri. He wrote in the Gayatri Chant this particular, that I offer my respectful obeisances. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Whose Janma Adi means birth and activities. They are so much integrated that even though he is Anadi, he takes birth for the sake of pleasure of his devotees. He is directly and indirectly knowing this fact. Alright? He has not to be taught. But when he came as Krishna and Balaram, he went to Sandipani Muni to show the way. Alright? That you must have spiritual master. So, Anvaya means either that way. Abhigya, he is completely cognizant. He is never forgetful. When Janmashtami Maharaj passed away in accident in 2002, we were there. I was planning to come. My mother was in the hospital and I had to come and attend the same day, but I had to go to Singapore. And there, the first witness, so they were asking, why Maharaj, why? The devotee has to pass this way. I said, what's wrong with this? Yeah, but accident. We do not remember. Antakalecha mame was smaran mukta kalevana satrayati sanpalo chati. There are no chances. If you do not remember at the time of death, Krishna remembers what you have done. Well, how much have you served him? How much devotional service have you rendered? Krishna will never forget. Prabhupada says, Kita janma ho yada turada bahirbukha parma janma nahi. Even if I am born as a worm, let me be your servant. I do not want Brahma who is averse to your devotional service. I don't want to become Brahma. Every living entity after separation from Lord Krishna has to start his birth like Brahma. So Anadika means from time immemorial, the creation, sustenance and dissolution have been going on. And we have been floating in 8.4 billion species of life, starting from Brahma all the way to a little single cell amoeba or a phytoplankton or a zooplankton. Single cell. But not coronavirus. Coronavirus is not a living entity. Yet, by Krishna's mercy, it has the bones which are releasing the energy to multiply. So that's all. But it's not a living entity. Nobody can become corona. But we can manufacture corona. So anyway, the idea is that the living entity which is conscious. Consciousness means now to respond to an external stimulus. Read in science. I study, that's why I am. To respond to an external stimulus is done only by living entity. So that is called life. Consciousness is the symptom of life. Alright? But how do you use your consciousness? But consciousness is divine, energy supplied by Paramatma to the Atma, so he can become animated. Otherwise, alone without the help of Paramatma, we cannot exist. Even in a single cell. Now, how many cells do you possess in your body? Several trillions. And every cell is supposed to be born, sustained for some time, and die. Every 7 years, medical science says, your cells are changing. You are not changing. Who are you? Part and parcel of Krishna. So why aren't you subservient to Lord Krishna? Straightforward. Because we have a separate desire to Lord over, which has arisen from hate, enviousness. Ichha dvesa samathena dvanda mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammohan sakyanti. Bhuta means what? Now, to come in existence, even for temporary period, is bhava is the root of Bhuta. Bhuta means already existing. But Bhuta also exists as a subtle energy, mind, intelligence and ego. Your gross body will perish, but the subtle body of mind, intelligence and ego will take you. So that is Bhuta, we understand. But this Bhuta and that Bhuta, both are Bhuta. Both are Bhuta. Casper the friendly ghost. Remember? Long time back in 70s. So the people with gross senses misuse the senses and they do not see the reality. Otherwise the senses have consciousness. And Krishna made these 5 objects of sense perception, the Shabda, Rupa, Gandha, Sparsha. What is the way of Sparsha? Swara. So these 5 objects were created by Krishna. Then the senses were given. The 5 working senses and 5 knowledge acquiring senses. 15 tattvas. Then earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego. 8 gross. So 23. And the soul which fell into grace was entered. So from that time we were covered by ignorance. We forgot what we did. And we were always obsessed with the matter. And we try to connect us only with matter. And matter is changing and we are changing. But the soul is not changing. It is experiencing all these things. And Krishna says, Mamaivaamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Manashasthani indriyani prakriti karshati. The soul is my part and parcel. And through the 5 senses and 5 sense organs and 5 objects of senses, he has been pulled like a tug of war here and there. Mind is the reservoir of all sense perception, and Karshati means he is fluctuating. So the soul is not supposed to be inanimate, but he thinks he is made up of matter, which we have not. And as long as we have material connection, it will be always troublesome, and it is not ours, because Krishna created it. He did not create soul. Soul is existing eternally with him. Sanatan. Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So, this position of the soul and the super soul, who is the most worshipable, and super soul, how does super soul? So, the aggregate are those who are fallen. They are coming through the glance of Mahavishnu, the first Karanadaksha Vishnu. And Sadikshati Sadiman Asujata. The Vedas say, simply by glancing, he creates. There is a dead regime. Prakriti is not there. But it's an empty space in the corner of spiritual world. where the glass is reflected and the souls are impregnant. So Krishna, in the form of Mahavishnu now, is creating the material world. The spiritual world is already there, but we fell from that grace and we have to take the forceful shape in the womb of material nature. Sarva yonishu murtayanti sambhava tasham mahat yoni aham bijatavata. I am the seed giving father, Krishna claims. Not even Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva never claims that you are my part and parcel. No avatars are going to claim. Vishnu doesn't say that. Only in Bhagavad Gita Krishna will reveal. Alright. And that too, the Vedas reveal, but we are not qualified to read Vedas. In Kali Yuga especially, Stri, Shudra, Vijabandhuna, Tan, Shruti, no Gochara. The Vedic studies are very difficult in Kali Yuga for us to go through, and we see nobody's teaching. Right? And it has been, all the Vedas were stolen by Britishers and Germans. Up till 1976, they had the authority to give PhD in Sanskrit. Isn't it a shame? So revival of Sanskrit is very, very perfect language. Even NASA has adopted. Because very specific words, it denotes the absolute truth, connection. And the reality is that there are so many scientific references because I studied and I'm interested in utilizing in preaching the absolute truth. So we see, even Maharaj is also a very good commentator on science. So the idea is that Vedanta Sutra, it says that Krishna integrated all his energies and make it so much interchangeable that even the demigods, the devatas, 33 crore devata, they become perplexed by seeing the situation. He imparted the knowledge, but then subsequent creation that takes place, then all those five main subjects of rasa, gandha, sparsha, etc. So they are interacting, and how do they become finally earth, water, fire, and everything began from the ether. Okay? There was, in the beginning, what the Bible says, in the beginning there was the Word and the Word was God. But here it is explained, the ether is for sound, right? Shabda Keshu, Pranava Aham, I am that Omkar. Krishna plays this. Pranava Sarva Vedeshu, and therefore it is inherited into Vedas. He Paurasham Dushu, and the Paurasham means ability in that. Alright? Now, going further, Krishna is explaining that Eme Brahmaradaya Adikave Muhyati Surya. After Brahma, when he created all the demigods, they become perplexed. They cannot, Muhyati means they become completely mesmerized. They cannot find out what is the beginning, what is the end. How do they do? Tejo vari pradam yatha vinimaya trisarga. In the trisarga means the creation, sustenance and dissolution. So the process has begun and manifest, and we saw that the soul is embedded with all these 24 elements. Right? So Teja means from where does the stage of the sun come? Shabda Brahma is there, and here they call it Big Bang. They're specular, but they cannot explain. Alright? So, the Shabda brings air. Air is transformed again and comes in the form of the globe. Sorry. Tejo Vari Pradam. Tej means the sunshine, Vari means water, and Pradam means earth. They are subsequently transformed. So, if you have Tej, water should come as a result. How does this water come? Science. Anything that is burned, it will produce carbon dioxide and water vapor. So, sun is burning. So, water is coming. If you see the water and let it settle, you will find in microscope the dissolved particles of the earth. So, why not earth is coming from the water? When they went on the moon, and Prabhupada was telling how, look at that, they cannot find water. But how come sand is there? There must be water. Prabhupada is right. Prabhupada also studied BSc. But this is common sense. We may not have similar atmosphere, but the 5 elements are necessary. And they are everywhere. So why not the Jiva? Jiva is called Sarvatra Ga. He can travel anywhere when on the wings of the mind. But he's uncontrolled. So generally, whatever his desires at the time of quitting the body, the mind will drag him to that desire. Otherwise, the yogis are also having controlled mind, powerful, and they can go anywhere they desire. But that yoga system, it is not meritorious in Kali Yuga. It was in Satyayuga. Krite dhaya Vishnu, Tetayam Yajadokre, Dvapare Paricharyayam, Pradhari Kirtana. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare. And why Krishna's name? Hari has 1,000 names, Vishnu Sahasranam. But yes, Bhagavatam Kapurus, Kalal Dosha Vijaya, Asti Eko Mahaprabhu. There is only one good quality in Kali Yuga. Otherwise, it's an ocean of faults. Kirtanad eva Krishnasya mukta sangapam. Just chant Hare Krishna. Only Krishna's name. Krishna says himself, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. And why do we interject any other name? If you want to see the power of the holy name, please chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna will be revealed. Pure devotional service starts from chanting Hare Krishna. Those who have excuses, I'm sorry for them, but your excuses are not valid. Why to be at disadvantage? Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Because He has been claimed. He claims himself. He has been claimed by all the 12 authorities that here is the Supreme Personality of God. You don't have to go out. Oh, he is one of the God. He is the God. And Prabhupada present that day, he is the only God with a specific name, character, attributes, and all the character. So, this is the movement of Krishna consciousness, and it is catching like wildfire throughout the world, and we have to run after everybody. As long as we can do, we will do it. So, anybody has any question, comments? कितना टाइम है? 10 मिनट. चलो 10 मिनट चर्चा करो. You can ask questions. You will know more about Krishna. Yes. Let's see. We'll have to conduct the disciple course. Towards the weekend or something. I think 2-3 days crash course. Again, he is the manager. Manager. Yes.
How to always stay motivated and inspired on the Vedic bhakti?
There is no tablet for that. Association with the devotees and inquisitiveness will inspire. तद्विद्धि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्षन्ति तं ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनः तत्त्वदर्शिनः. The root of motivation is coming from this process. You must approach a bona fide devotee. Either he is a Diksha Guru or Siksha Guru or Marg Pradakshana Guru. Get him, ask a pertinent question with a humble attitude, and he will tell you about the absolute truth because he has seen the truth.
Maharaj, why is the jiva so much perplexed and why he is not being attracted to Krishna?
अनादिकाल अनादिकाल कृष्ण भूली गेला जीव अतः तारे संसारे झापटिया अनादिकाल because he has forgotten. To forget means unless and until he gets the re-education, he will not come to his senses. If you read the meaning of educare in Latin dictionary, it means to bring about what you have forgotten. It's not mathematics. Your original occupation you have forgotten. But you are ending up with service. Nobody can become master in the material world. Even if you have desire, Maya will slap you somewhere. That is Krishna's Maya. Our position is subservient. So why not to accept? And devotional service must have a cultivation of humility. Without that, we cannot do that. So we have to learn proper etiquette. We'll be conducting Vaishnava etiquette classes. I think I have shown PowerPoint. So you set up and at your disposal. Learn a lot of things. Yes.
Can you tell us what the significance of today is? What is so special? Why we are here
The significance of?
today?
Oh, today is the appearance day of Krishna. It happened only once during Brahma's 12 hours, which is called Kalpa, and in 12 hours, 1000 Mahayugas consisting of Satya, Treta, Dwapar and Kali will come. But only in 27th cycle of this Mahayuga, Krishna is coming at the end of Dwapar, which is the previous age. The Kali began only 5,500 years back. So during that, its exact calculation is that Krishna, the Supreme Absolute, comes only once. So this was and that was during the reign of Vaivasvat Manu, the 7th month. This is the calculation. And he does not come every Kali Yuga or before every Dwapar Yuga. He does not come. But Hare Krishna Mahamantra is written in Kalishantara Upanishad of Yajurveda that it works in all the Kali Yugas. There is only chanting his name. It is not easily available in other 3 yugas. But this is the only solution. But it only gives in other yugas liberation. Right? But no go back to the Godhead. It's only in this yuga. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came right after Lord Shri Krishna, say about 535 years back, and established Krishna consciousness. Why we have to develop this consciousness is a very progressive evolution of consciousness. Because otherwise, we are nothing but Homo sapiens and animals, right? We also do the same thing as animals do, but only the consciousness is the main paradigm that separates us from the animals' behavior. So what is the best behavior? How do we develop that? It's a very practical application in this age, and there is every prospectus written according to the. So in Vedic studies, we are getting that. So it's not a blind belief, but it is supported by, personal experience of the great authorities. Plus, it gives you the chance to practice, to come to the same conclusion. And the Shastra, the third. These are the 3, supports of your authority. Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, Vakya, Chitta. Then you will never go wrong. Otherwise, there are methods of meditation, but where they come as meditation. Meditation, we have to meditate on the holy name because that is the process. So the idea is that other meditation that was prescribed is in Satya Yuga, that is the first millennium. Brahma lives for, that is only 12 hours of Brahma. But it's the same night that is Mahapralaya, is dissolution. Then again, creation, sustenance and dissolution will start from that age. And we have come into the existence and remain, but the soul never dies. Anything that is material attached to it So they perish. Yes, Prabhu.
Maharaj, I think his question was, Gyan is great, but we are bhaktas who would not like to hear some Hare Katha. They want to hear the Leela, some Hare Kathas. You can give us some Hare Katha, that would be great.
I cannot hear.
Hare Katha, some Leela, pastime, Nanda.
It's the pastime of Krishna.
Huh?
He said Gyan is great, but he wants to hear the pastime of Krishna.
Pastime. Oh my God. For simple childhood pastimes, Vasudeva and Devaki did so much austerity, suffered so much, and they were not the witness of the pastime even. Even though they desired Krishna to come appear as their child, somehow that Krishna has his own mind, right? But nonetheless, Krishna is fulfilling the desires of his pure devotees. But how much austerity and other things that they have to do. In the second millennium, they were Aditi and Kashyap. And Vaman Avatar came. Krishna came as a Vaman Dev, 7-year-old. But he had a business to beg 3 space of land. So their desire was not fulfilled, even though they received Krishna as their son. In the first millennium, there Vrishni and Sutapa and Hiranyakapa came as an adult incarnation, as their son, but he was busy in resurrecting the Vedas, Vedic literature. So, they had keen desire to witness childhood pastimes and benefit those who are intimate devotees, who are related to that. So Krishna says, yes, I will come. And this was the period and the millennium of this 27th millennium. All right? And Krishna appeared how? As a baby? No. Srimad Bhagavatam tells, he can appear any way he likes, but Krishna as he is, in original form, has a Vishuddha Sattva state of existence. Our existence in bodily conception of life is mixed modes. You may have only more of goodness, little prevails, but again with the mixed with Rajogun and Tamogun, passion and ignorance, right? So Krishna appeared when Vasudeva achieved that state of Vishuddha Sattva. He appeared in his heart. Then Vasudeva transferred from his heart to Devaki's heart by initiation. We are talking of initiation. Krishna can be conceived only by transference. So Vasudeva's heart was pure state where Krishna can appear. Other avatars do not come like that. Krishna has to come only in his original state as he is. So when Devaki was initiated and re-established Krishna into Devaki's heart, Devaki became very effulgent. Krishna is not born in the womb of Devaki. Then you will also say, how come? He is also the son of Yashoda. And there are a lot of Sanskrit literature that will tell that Yashoda was the real mother and Krishna appeared from her womb also. But we do not want to go into that. But this is exactly what Srimad Bhagavatam tells. That Krishna appeared in Devaki's heart, but the demigods think, how come she is so effulgent? it is time for Krishna to. So he must have taken shelter in her womb. So they came happily to glorify the king, and why? They went away. Then an opportune moment has to come. Krishna designed all the different constellations and everything to come into order and get ready. So an atmosphere of Vishuddhasattva was created. And Krishna all of a sudden appeared in four-headed form of Paramatma form, that is coming from Aniruddha as Kshirodakshay Vishnu. And Devaki said, my dear Lord, we know you, but we didn't ask you. We didn't ask you to come here. And you are coming with Shakti Chakra Gada and Padma. The party is going to go on here. I want to see or witness your childhood pastimes. Even if I cannot witness, please show to the world. And Krishna said, now you are talking. Bear more separation from me. I will certainly be available to you later. Transfer me to Yashoda's house. And we know that everything is ordered by Yogamaya, and Krishna got his way to go there. And Vasudeva came back in the prison house to start. So the childhood pastimes are beginning from there, from Gokul. Gokuleshwari Mata. So childhood pastimes are very important because there is no guide in it. Men cannot compare anything but a pleasure derived from Lord Krishna's pastimes. And to satisfy his pure devotees who are so intimately connected, only they can understand his pastimes. What to speak of the Baugat Leela and Kishora Leela. Very difficult. Childhood pastimes are very innocent, but they were filled with joy. First of all, the joy started when at a very old age Yashoda is giving birth to Krishna. And everybody was attracted because the atmosphere of transcendent nature and Gokul was there. Without transcendence, there cannot be any enjoyment. We love to hear the childhood pastimes and other pastimes, but we are not qualified. Because we don't have that kind of atmosphere. Of course, at the maximum we can establish some more goodness to listen, but the advantage to common people will not be available till their spiritual progress through chanting Hare Krishna and devotional service is established. We may take for granted that we are all devotees. Yeah, we are good, pious people, we know Krishna, we grew up with Krishna Leela and this and that. But there is no tinge of spirituality. We may think that this is a religious function, but I'm talking of spirituality here. Alright? So, every activity is to be understood on a spiritual platform, which is beyond moral goodness. Right? So one must cultivate that faith very systematically. Janma karma cha vedivya evam vedtiyo tattvata tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti vyakti. The advantage of hearing the pastimes of Lord Krishna is to get rid of birth and death forever. That is guaranteed. So I want you to get prepared that childhood pastimes are liberating. It will not allow you to come back in the material world. That is guaranteed. You have to get rid of this Mohamaya. And then we will be able to understand how the transcendental nature of Lord Shri Krishna is so much worshipable. Even Makhan Lila, you know it, right? And he makes so many tantrums to perform this Lila, but he is always overcoming even the gopis' tricks. He knows it, but in such a playful way that you may enjoy it. You may enjoy it, but our enjoyment does not last. This enjoyment is actually should come out from the meditation on the Leelas. So hearing such pastimes are always pious activity, but the benefit will go through those who are practicing and will become, conversant with the spirituality aspect. So, Makhan Chori Lila, Kanaya loves to, eat butter, and he cannot enjoy without stealing. Yashoda used to say, I don't like your complaints coming from other people, You have plenty of butter, you may eat. But what is that? He says, no, everything is mine. No, you may have your own butter, but others' butter is also mine. And because they are not going to give me voluntarily, I will steal it. And I'm also stealing your butter without knowing you. So why not others? So the gopis wanted Krishna to be caught red-handed. Krishna wanted that let's make a fun. Gopis wanted to catch him red-handed. So they tied up one bell near the shikha, that's what called the 3 pots of butter hanging on the hanger, right? And Krishna ordered, hey, ring bell, watch out, I'm your Lord and Master. You better stop ringing anytime, no problem, otherwise I'll punish you. They'll say, yes, my Lord, I'll obey your command. So Krishna was very safe. And they made this trap, and Krishna did not know. I would say Krishna would not know. But he still wants to enjoy stealing the butter. He brought monkeys and friends and everybody, and they started looting. As soon as he reached to take the butter and put in his mouth, the bell rang, and Krishna was caught. And he started chastising, you did not follow my order. I'm going to punish you. So, my dear Lord, how is it possible? See, I did not ring till you ate, and before you are taking your bhoga, I must ring. That is the rule. And your rule is that. I have not disobeyed you. So Krishna said, oh my God, Bell is more intelligent than me. I forgot. No. But the thing is that Krishna got caught. And all the boys and others, they were saying, oh Krishna, we will follow. The gopis, they dragged him Then he started complaining, you are very cruel. You don't know my tender wrist is going to be, twisted and you make me feel pain. Be gentle. I'm coming with you, So the gopis said, he's talking right. But then he slips away her own son's hand into Rama. Right? And she was happy drinking. This time we caught him, Yashoda, come. We caught your deer. Yashoda says, who? Did you get my Krishna? No, this is your own son you caught and brought him. What is this nonsense? You're trying to chastise my son? No, you can't chastise him. It's my service to chastise him. I'm the mother. You are simply gopis. But you want to make fun of him, that's why. But look, he's more clever. And the gopis, it's my own son. Slipping away, tricky, is not like magic. But Krishna mesmerizes, puts everybody into illusion. Aren't you having 4 defects?
Yes.
We have a limited sense perception. Therefore, we can be illusioned and make mistake and we lie. How are we going to realize this? It's because it's innocent pranks. Not to hurt anybody, but it gives the spiritually realized more and more happiness. So we have to come at part to understand, the transcendental nature of Lord Krishna, and only the devotees have access to it. Others don't have access. They may interpret and spoil the whole thing. So that's why evam vettiyo tattvata janma karma cha me divya. Isn't it? This is an ordinary karma. But why it is called lila instead of our karma? If you steal butter, you will be punished. But he is worshipped. Divya means divine. And evam vettiyo tattva, we have to also understand in cultivating divinity in us. Because we are part and parcel, we are of the same nature. Satchidananda. Krishna is wholesome. Eternity, full of knowledge and bliss. These are the 3 characters. But we forgot. We forgot our eternality. We think we have to die after giving up this body. But Krishna says, no, the soul is eternal. Right? That is called Sat. You are Sat, you are not fake. But you may be living fake life. So it is a contradiction between Krishna Leela and our Leela. We don't say our Leela. We are punishable. Krishna is not punishable, he is worshipable. So we have to understand through the cultivation of the eyes of divinity. Evam vettiyo tattvata tatyaktva deham punarjanma nevam. After giving up this body, we will never get another body. We'll go back home back to God. That is Krishna.